Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Uh, Greetings from Alliance Insurance Brokers. My name is Sameer, and I have Atul Thakkar and Mr. Tapan Singhal with us on the call right now. Really thankful to you for taking out your time for this webinar on international business. Warm greetings from Alliance Insurance Brokers and also from Bajaj Allianz General Insurance Company. I know it's and we have today we have audience from across different continents. So I'm I wish you good morning, I wish you good afternoon, and I wish you good evening. And again, thanking you for your time. Uh, I hope you and your family members are staying safe during these challenging times. With this, we'll start. But before we start this webinar, I'll quickly introduce Mr. Atul Thakkar and Mr. Tapan Singhal. So, Mr. Atul Thakkar is the co-founder and director of Alliance Insurance Brokers, a chartered accountant by profession. Atul has an experience of over 18 years in the insurance industry. He has developed global understanding of the insurance business. His in-depth understanding of the sector and futuristic views has helped him bring in innovations in Alliance's business. Atul has a deep sense of innovation. This is one of the main reasons for Alliance's innovative path towards success in the business. So Atul, as I mentioned before, is a co-founder. He, along with his father, Mr. S.V. Thakkar, started this company some 17 years back. It was a very small company then. So in the last 17 years, the company has grown from one or two employees kind of company to over 400 plus employees. We have grown from no client base or a zero client base to over 3,300 happy corporate customers. We have placed last year a premium of over 151 million US dollar in Indian as well as international market. Now, in the last 17 years, we are present in over 14 cities in India. So you can imagine the operation was started by in a small office in Mumbai. Now we are present across each and every major geography, major city in India. Now I'm really lucky to be part of this wonderful organization. Thank you, Atul. Thanks to you for taking out your time for this webinar on international business.
Thank you, Sameer. Thank you for having me.
Mr. Tapan Singhal is, I honestly, he does not need any introduction from us, but for all those who don't know him, he is MD and CEO of Bajaj Allianz General Insurance Company Limited. Tapan is one of the founding members of Bajaj Allianz General Insurance Company and its MD and CEO for the past 9 years. Tapan has built the organization to where it is today, with close to over 11 crore customers and a wide distribution network spanning across more than 1,000 locations across the country. You can imagine 1,000 locations in India. Under his aegis, the company has been recognized as one of the best in Asia. An avid social media influencer, Tapan has around 7 million followers on LinkedIn and has been recognized as the LinkedIn's top voice in India in the year 2018 and in the year 2019. He also chairs the CII, which is Confederation of Indian Industries, National Committee on Insurance and Pensions. He has also been honored as the Personality of the Year at India Insurance Summit and Awards 2019, and the list will continue. So which is very exciting. Is also been awarded as Personality of the Year at 22nd Asia Insurance Industry Awards 2018, and Indian Insurance Summit 2017. So you can imagine I think every year, or not just every year, in every year he's been awarded multiple awards and recognitions. He has also been awarded as the most promising business leader of Asia at the Economic Times Global Business Summit 2018. He also won CEO of the Year honor at the prestigious third annual Insurance India Summit and Awards in 2018 and Insurance Asia Awards. So yes, we are really lucky to have you, sir. It is our pleasure, and thank you so much for taking out your time from your busy schedule.
My honor, Samir, Adur. My honor to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So, Atur, would you like to say a few words before we actually start our webinar?
Yes, thank you, Samir. I'd like to welcome all our guests. Thank you so much for attending this webinar. We are over 100 attendees now from various parts of the world, and I'm sure everyone is as excited for this webinar as I am, and I'm sure we're going to know new things about how business is happening in India, how Indian multinationals are operating in various parts of the world, what role brokers and insurers are playing today, and how technology is taking center stage in changing the way we operate. And I'm very excited to share this forum with Tapan. He's been a mentor to a lot of us, and thank you for being there, Tapan. Samir, thanks for this opportunity.
Thank you. So we'll move to the presentation. Can I have the presentation, please? So in the meantime, while the presentation is there on the screen, I'll just introduce you about the group, the invitees we have. So we have a mix of international brokers, primarily from the western side of the world. When I say western side of the world, it means from India's western side of the world, which is US and Europe and Middle East. So these are the renowned international brokers, large international brokers in their respective countries. We also have the global risk managers of large multinational companies, and yes, obviously from Europe and US. And we also have our colleagues from Alliance. We also have our friends from Bajaj Allianz, and we also have clients from India. So, but all of us, I think but with the most common thing which is there across all invitees and all guests is today here is that we have one interest or the other in the international business. So that is what the theme is of the webinar. So the webinar is divided into three major parts. The first one is the impact of IIB rating on the global programs in India. When I say global programs, means the global programs of large multinational companies from other countries having operations in India. And then the second part is the Indian interest abroad, usually the Indian multinationals investing outside of India, and their insurance programs, how are they planning, and what is their what is the way forward. And last but not the least is the client speak. So I'll start with the first part of the webinar, which is the impact of IIB rates on global insurance programs. Next slide, please. So I'm not too sure how many of you are familiar with the Indian tariff and de-tariffing regime, how it happened, but as a quick uh, summary, you can say, so India was a tariff market till the year 2007. 2007 was the year when government or the regulator decided to move the tariff-based regime to a market-driven system. But after that, the regulator realized that we did not have a centralized agency which could have had the centralized data with them, which helped them in arriving at a pricing or reserving or solvency margin. So in the year 2009, Insurance Information Bureau, or in short IIB, was created, or you can say was formed, which was backed by a directive of IRDAI, which is the Indian insurance regulator. So IIB has few domains like property, engineering, health, motor and life. But what happened in the, say from the year 2007 to the year 2017, India saw drastic reduction in the property premium. The premium rate came down from what it used to be, let's say 100, it came down to 99 or even lesser. So the premium, because of the competition, because of the de-tariffing, year-on-year basis, the premium rates kept coming down, and which hit insurance companies hard in their balance sheets. Barring a few insurance companies, most of the insurance companies in India had underwriting losses. So in the year 2017, government decided to come up with a model of rating called burning cost for few, for not few, but for almost 100 occupancies. But this could not sustain, this pricing on burning cost model could not sustain. And you can say insurance companies did not adhere to the directive. But soon after that, rather during that period in 2017 and 18, India was witnessing a lot of natural catastrophic losses like Chennai floods, like Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir floods, Assam floods. So every year there were multiple catastrophes which hit India, due to which the regulator decided to fix up a rate for natural catastrophic risk, NatCat rate you can call it. But again, this did not help much. Soon after few months after this NatCat rate were kind of frozen, government decided to put 8 occupancies under tariff. These 8 occupancies were those occupancies which were high risk, or you can say more loss prone industries. So this started with 8 occupancies or 8 risks, but almost after 9 years, government, or you can say GIC Re, the national reinsurer, asked IIB to give them the rating on the basis of the data which IIB has been collecting or had been collecting. So with effect from 1st of January 2020, which is almost 1.5 years back, GIC Re, the state-owned reinsurer, decided to implement IIB rates. So the effect of this was that premium rates went up from one occupancy to another by 2x to 7x. So the challenge here is, now what happened is that as the industry saw so many changes, now this is the background about IIB rating. Now I would request our experts to tell us more about the impact of IIB rates. So my first question is to Mr. Tapan Singhal. So Tapan, the question here is that and because of this IIB rating or premium rating, there is no differentiation between a good risk or a bad risk. How Bajaj Allianz as an insurer reacted to it? What is your philosophy? How is it that you are differentiating a bad risk from a bad risk? Though the rates have been decided, but the risks vary from, even under one occupancy, the risks vary from a good risk to a bad risk.
Thank you, Samir. I think you really put the entire perspective very well. But let's understand first and foremost why IIB and know what is the issue. So pre-IIB, like you said, if something was priced at 100, it came down to, let's say, 1 or 10. Yeah, the drop of 99. Did we as an industry do this good rating and bad rating of customers? Did we price them like that, or did we just do a bloodbath free for all? Now, we didn't do that. No, it was free for all. People were only competing on price in a very unprofessional manner. As an industry, we really destroyed the business. No? Now, the point comes in when GIC, as a national reinsurer, all it said was that I will not accept any premium which is lower than the loss ratios of particular occupancies. And that is what, and the database was IIB, which they took. Now, they cannot come out with tariff because they are a reinsurer. So obviously that was the easiest thing for them to do. And that they could not do differentiation of good and bad risk. Personally, I'm completely against any such kind of fixation of pricing linked to any ratio like this. It should be left to direct insurers along with the good reinsurers to decide the underwriting philosophy. At Bajaj Insurance Company, for all these years you've seen, we always maintained very high underwriting practices, and we always had good customers improve their risk perspective mitigation along with good brokers like you. That has been our obsession, and we serve them well, paid claims in an amazing time frame. So for us, this kind of structure is not very conducive, which we also feel is not very fair to the customers. So we have represented to the CMD of GIC, Mr. Devesh, saying that there has to be differentiation. There has to be an option of higher deductibles. There has to be an option of customer choice. This to me is not very customer friendly. No, but again, they have their own view because of the way the bloodbath has happened in the market. They have to retain and protect their own balance sheet and also see how it has to be done. But in no way does it restrict an insurance company to go to different reinsurers, and be able to get good terms. That is not blocked. So if you look at it, is GIC which said that I will not accept, but it is not forcing any other reinsurer to say that they cannot accept. In order of preferences, and we have so many very good reinsurers with us in the country, and beyond that also. So in a way, what we do is, one, we always represent to the GIC in stating that these are good risk and we should be doing so. We have been constantly doing it. One, as an individual company. Second, as an industry forum. Third, as CI platform also. But I said, this is not something which is very customer friendly. And I've said in many forums that I personally am not in favor of such kind of structure. And second, for customers, we try to see what kind of solutions can we provide to them is very conducive. That is what we do, Samir. And that is our view on this. And I've mentioned in many places, still mention this. I don't agree to this kind of, otherwise go back to tariff era. No, why have an era like this in which you try to get to an average loss ratio kind of pricing? But having said that, I think the differentiation has to be there for good customers and bad customers. And that's a constant process that has to be done. And as a company, we do that constantly. Samir. I think you're on mute, Samir. We can't hear you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Actually, the second question is also directly and indirectly related to this, but it is more on the impact of IB rating on the global programs. As Bajaj Allianz, you are obviously the market leaders in global programs. And when I say global programs, just to clarify, the inward global programs of large multinational companies from different parts of the world. They are part of the India business is also part of the global program. So, how did Bajaj Allianz help them, or because premium rates went for them as well? So, what did Bajaj Allianz do?
I think again a very interesting question. So let's understand, why is IIB rate sustaining in the Indian market? Let's understand this, Samir. Then you get the answer. See, as I told you, GIC is said that only for us, if you place, give us IB rate. They're not the ones who decide for other insurance what it has to be done, which fundamentally means that let us say if the pricing in India or the data in India was good, the IB rate would not have sustained in India even for a couple of months. Right, Samir? Business got placed to other reinsurers very, very easily. If it is sustained for now, you said 2020 is already 21, that is about 1.5 years. It means that after IB rates also, the rates are still and the derivatives are still not as much as should be compared to international rates. No, otherwise IB would have got demolished in the first month itself. Fundamentally. So when you have a global program, first and foremost, on risk basis, we see that can it be placed, in terms of international practices, because they're international customers, so they understand why a high rating has to be there, what kind of pricing has to be there, how the rating has to be done. Now, if they get a good offer there, we definitely would do that. If they don't get a good offer there and IB is a better offer, then we would offer them an IB rate. So fundamentally, whatever is good for the customer is what we shall strive and achieve for, and give the best recommendation which would work for the customer from that perspective.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. My next question is to Atul. Atul, as a leading P&C insurance broker, how did Allianz help its clients?
Thanks, Samir. Thank you for the question. As you rightly mentioned, the IIB came into action in January of 2020. We were then hit by a lockdown in March 2020, and more than 40% of the Indian P&C business gets renewed on 1st April 2020. So it's a 90-day of a lot of action, which actually was witnessed by us. The clients obviously thought to begin with it was Allianz increasing the price, and wanted to go to multiple other intermediaries to find out, is this true? Is this happening? Speak to the regulators, speak to various insurers, because they were so used to the lower price points, and a 2x to a 7x increase was something completely unbudgeted with the COVID round the corner. So it was a roller coaster ride, but I think our vast team did a great job. IIB stated rates for occupancies depending on the manufacturing process or the risk that you have. A lot of these risks, because of the 99% discount, nor did the client and nor did the insurance company bother to rate them as per a tariff or as per the risk occupancy. So when this IIB came into action, I think our vast teams, physically, our engineering teams went on the ground, focused on the right identification of the process, number one. We engaged our valuation team, we valued the risk in the right manner. Just to give you an example, because of the large discount, a machinery breakdown cover was bought on full value. When you do a valuation, you would identify 20 to 30% of the sum insured would be on tubes and pipes and wires, which are not subject to machinery breakdown. So we actually got those valuations in place, negotiated those contracts with insurance companies, reduced those values, rated them in the right manner, and ensured that our clients had an optimum program. Of course, we were not in a position to reduce premiums on 1/4/20 by an alternate reinsurer, which Tapan also mentioned. These rates were predominantly driven by GIC and not the tariff. That's the law of the land. But as we move forward, as we speak today, I think at least more than 50 risks Allianz is placed outside of this IIB rating in the international market with the help of international reinsurers. Tapan and team have contributed to many of those successes. And that's how we've been able to, for the good risk, I'm trying to answer a little bit of the Tapan's question. Somewhere Allianz has been able to market the good risk in a different manner other than the GIC capacity. So yeah, it was a fairly interesting time back then, but I think we are all stabilizing with our approaches now. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I mean, I'd like to add here, I'm very happy to hear what Atul mentioned in terms of going to the customer and doing a risk assessment, valuation, and putting things in perspective. This is professionalism. That's the point I mentioned. See, The idea is when you see a situation like this, move towards becoming very, very professional, as an insurance company, as a broker, as an insurance professional. That is how you add value to the customer. And what you don't feel for is right, raise your voice against it, like we have done for IIB, spoken to GIC, spoken at all forums, even to IID also. And that is how you take the situation. But the learning is, don't do what happened pre-IIB time, that you did not discriminate between good and bad, and you made just pricing is the only game in terms of what you offer to the customer. I think that was highly unprofessional. That is why this happened. But the learning from there and getting to high level of professionalism is something which is very good. I'm very happy to hear Atul mention this. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you, sir. Atul, my next question on this IIB to you is, what is your view on sustainability of IIB pricing?
That's again taking a clue from what Tapan mentioned. I believe that IIB is here to stay for some more time, but we definitely expect, because of the efforts the industry is taking, what Tapan also mentioned, and what even Alliance is playing a role on the Brokers Association Forum and the Insurance Council and our representation to the regulator and to GIC, where we've had multiple meetings with the GIC chairman, Devesh. We say you need, to differentiate and allow clients to look at differential deductibles, different structures, discounts on customers which are investing into risk management. At the same time, I believe there will be more and more capacities which will emerge, or giving alternatives to GIC. Maybe not at the same deductibles, maybe on loss limits, not on full sum insureds. Which will create an alternative market to the IIB rates. So I believe while IIB is here to stay, it will bring its own twist and turn with regards to options, and alternate capacities have been emerging and will continue to emerge in a far more stronger manner. And I also believe that companies like Bajaj Allianz, which is led by Tapan, also have an important role to create those alternatives for customers.
Thank you so much. My humble request to all participants is that I'm sure you would also have a lot of questions. So you can please keep them ready with you, or you can type them, put them on the Q&A tab or on chat box. We will take all your Q&A questions at the end of the webinar. Basically, that will be the fourth part. So now with this, I will move to the next second part of our webinar, which is Indian interest abroad. So I would request for the next slide, please. Next, please. So this is the data on your screen, which is showing the direct investment abroad for the last almost 21 years. So, but I'll move quickly to the next slide, which gives us some numbers. Now, the cumulative amount of actual ODI outflow, you can say, from the Indian companies into various other geographies or countries is around 250 billion US dollar for the last 20 years. The major countries where India is investing is Singapore, United States, Netherlands. Yes, we'll have to leave Mauritius out of it, and British Virgin Islands from this list, because these are the routing countries, but and we all of us know for taxation purposes and all. These are the major countries where Indian investment is going to. And the top 10 industries for the last 20 years is financial services, IT, manufacturing, agri and mining, and so on. So as you can see, like Indian companies, or India Inc., if we call it, they are also going global at a very fast pace. We were very slow, say till 20 years back, when there were only few handful of Indian corporates who were investing outside of India. But now we have so many companies investing in other parts of the world, which means that there is golden opportunity for Indian insurance industry to work with our clients on the global programs for their operations, which include India business, which also includes their overseas business. This also includes the global benefit solutions for their employees based in different parts of the world. So, sir, I have a question to you. As Bajaj Allianz, you are one of the market leaders or the market leader in this segment in India. But according to you, in your experience with Indian MNCs, what is their approach towards global programs?
It's a very good question, Samir, but let's understand first and foremost, if you look at even our insurance heads of different MNCs or different companies, insurance is a matter of trust. So let's say if they trust a good broker like you, and then they would actually want you to provide solutions to them. That is something, or an insurance company, they want that person to provide solutions to them across the world. Because for them also, because if you, as you rightly mentioned, this is a new trend now, which has picked up in the last decade. But it's not a small trend. My personal belief is in the next couple of decades, I think a lot of Indian companies will have, and the world is getting shorter. So this will be a very common phenomena all across. So 2-3 things has to happen. Now, the customer here has a lot of trust in you, and he expects you to deliver solutions across, because that is what you should be able to do as a good broker, and we as a good insurance company. One advantage we have is Allianz as a partner for us, as a JV partner for us. And obviously they have presence and they're the leading insurance company of the world. They have presence all across. So for us, that advantage has definitely been there. The other advantage has been that we have been a company which has been very broker friendly, and good brokers like you, who have good network across international markets, are also able to stitch things together. I think these two gives us an advantage, if you may say so, in putting these programs together. So I think for me, the way I look at it is that my customer and the person sitting there has such huge faith in me that I should be able to deliver if something goes wrong anywhere. So that faith cannot come down. Now, some I can do through my network, some I cannot. For that, I require good brokers who also have a good network across different countries, and they must be knowing good brokers other places, of stitching it together in a way that, one, we should have claims control in the contract which is there. So at least if claims happen, then we are not left at the mercy of some other place. That is something which we definitely would like to do. And second would be to offer a very comprehensive coverage. So anything going wrong in a foreign land, then the Indian businessman does not lose his money or his position there. I think that is something we should be very, very careful about. So we are more obsessed about putting these 2-3 things together, having the claims control, ensuring that we put a very good solution, tying up with good insurance companies across, looking at admitted, non-admitted countries, looking at good brokers who can stitch it all together. That's what you're doing. And I strongly believe that this is not just the entire pie. This is going to expand at a very exponential pace in times to come. This would become a very big business chunk. So people who actually learn this early, pick it up early and do well, will actually have a very good advantage. That's my belief, Samir.
I completely agree with you, sir. Thank you. So, next question is to you only, and this is as Bajaj, what is your value proposition if a client comes to you? Although you have answered this question, but still, if you can explain something more on it, like what is Bajaj Allianz's value proposition for the global programs or for the Indian multinationals looking for global programs?
As I mentioned to you earlier, because of our JV partner Allianz being the leading, I think it is the #1 P&C insurer of the world all across, and presence in over 100 plus countries. So we are dominant presence and network across, and I've been in this company for now from the very initial years, 20 years. So my personal network also across different countries has been pretty well. So I think we are able to stitch a very good program at a hyper speed there. Second, as I mentioned, I have very good broker friends like Allianz, and your name is very resonance with my partner also, who also have very good network which is there. But am I very happy with the current state? No, I want to make it more strong. As I mentioned to you, the obsession will do that. The other thing which comes to the table is that our balance sheet. If you look at Variance balance sheet, strongest balance sheet in the Indian market. our solvency, our claim paying capacity, our ability to handle such large claims at a very, very hyper time. No worry about cash call something. No, we are cash rich as a company. I think ability to pay claims. And when let's say you are an Indian businessman setting up, all across, what would your fears be? Something goes wrong, am I well covered? That market, do I understand all the regulations well? Understand rules well? Do I understand insurance rules well? Then what are the coverage that I'm missing on? And a claim happens, can I have control on the claim by my Indian partner? And can I get that money very, very fast? I think so you should start thinking from the customer's shoes and pick up all these 5, 6 major fear that the customer may have and provide a very good solution to the customer. I think broadly, as I mentioned to you, because of being a very strong company in terms of balance sheet, in terms of our international expertise, in terms of our partnerships, I think we're able to put it all together, Samir. So that is what we bring to the table.
Thank you, sir. I agree. I think one of the major reasons is to give that kind of confidence to our clients is that their assets, their people are well protected by us while sitting in India. And administratively also, it is more convenient for them to manage it rather than managing it into different verticals or buckets. Atul, my next question is to you. So according to you, what are the challenges with regards to stitching a global program for Indian multinational companies? I think there's some technical issue.
Issue there, yeah.
We'll wait for Atul. There's some technical issue, it seems. I'm so sorry for the.
You should take a insurance cover for this, Samir, for technical issues, no? You should get
Yes.
a payout.
I agree with you. So I think I'll add my thoughts as a broker on the global programs in India. One thing is I don't know, sir, whether you'll agree with me or not, but what we have seen from our experiences that Indian companies, Indian MNCs, they are still not very keen on centralizing the entire risk management process. Though the trend is improving, trend is getting better in a way that now Indian clients are hiring professional insurance professionals as to take care of their entire insurance programs. This is adding to the seriousness or to the value which a client should be giving to the global programs. That is one area of improvement which we are seeing, but as you rightly mentioned, still a lot more to be done. But Indian clients, they are Indian companies. They are getting better hold. They are recruiting right set of teams as to head their insurance programs. Second part to this is on the lack of understanding even in our industry in India, which is good if you ask me as a broker, as Alliance, wherein we have a dedicated team of international experts. In a way, it is good, but as a professional, as an insurance professional, I believe that there has to be a competition, and the competition is always healthy from the client's point of view. That keeps us as a broker on our toes. So what I'm trying to tell you is that I've not seen many broking companies in India which understands the global programs. So unless until as a distributor, as a service provider, if I don't understand the global program, I'll not be able to guide my clients. So which is good from Alliance point of view, but not from the client's point of view. So I believe that we need to, as an industry, we need to have a lot more seriousness towards this business. As you rightly mentioned, that there's a good amount of scope from the business point of view, and not just business from point of view, but also from client's point of view, because they get economical terms and services as compared to the going to the if as it is said that sum of part is greater than the whole. So which is a good saying, and it's a very apt in this particular scenario, because as a client, if I'm my each and every country is taking its own insurance policy, obviously it will be much more expensive than going for a global program. So, but with due course of time, I believe Indian clients are getting there, and soon we will see good amount of business coming from this particular segment. I don't know if Arthur is back.
Am I audible?
Okay, Arthur, wonderful. I'm sorry for the group up. So, Arthur, my next question to you is, what is the strength of Alliance in designing global programs?
Thank you, Samir. I'm audible, Samir. Is everything
Yes,
okay?
yes,
You can
yes,
see me and
yes.
can hear me? Okay, fantastic. So first of all, Alliance has a dedicated team which works on this. We work closely with our network partners across various countries. Our team's strength is divided between benefits and PNC because we believe solutions to both are different and that needs to be structured. Alliance focuses on a dedicated basis on currently on 500 Indian large multinational corporates out of the 5,000 which are in our radar. So it's a very focused, targeted approach which we focus on. And all these are Indian entrepreneurs who are either self-funded because of the historic business or very heavily private equity funded with regards to their expansion needs. And our strength lies in ensuring everything what Tapan mentioned with regards to structuring the programs, stitching it up locally, ensuring claims control, putting the technology platform in place for them to manage all their policies on a dashboard, and ensure value creation. So it's an end-to-end approach. And currently we enjoy close to 50 such relationships of Indian multinationals where we are insuring them across more than one country. And when you play the client speak video, some of them would be speaking on that as well. So it's a focused approach in a nutshell, Samir.
Thank you so much, Arthur. Again, I would request the guests, the attendees to please post your questions on chat box or Q&A section. We will definitely take them after this third section. So, can I have the next slide, please? So there's a small video of our clients, which is a testimony of our services and our capabilities. So I would request for the video, please.
We have more than 50 nationals, international educators in the world. When we choose to work overseas, there are a lot of gray areas, especially the insurance. What we found from Alliance, that they had a great spirit of innovation. They were risk takers. They had a spirit of collaboration. On top of all this, a big amount of transparency. And before Alliance, all these insurance needs were served from overseas. When we worked with Alliance, as part of the renovation, they did a great job of bringing the insurance products, services and solutions which we had to bring from overseas to India. Point that we have been together for 6 years is that there is some value, some unique value that Alliance has brought. That's why we are together. We are not easy to renew contracts, okay? And I'm happy to share that working with Alliance in insurance has been a great experience.
I think the big business for us has been in cricket, where we have talked of values of 1,000 crores plus, and we have got the best deal from through Alliance. Well, I think the main thing with Alliance has been is it's been a solution provider. I remember some couple of years ago we had a particularly difficult claim where one of the private underwriters actually had raised some objections, and Alliance played a big role in ensuring that this claim was processed and the entire amount was settled. So that, I think, is some the part of the value that I look at when I say that Alliance brings value to the table.
So I think over a journey of 10 years, everybody understands that insurance is not necessarily the nicest subject to speak about, because whenever there is a claim, it usually isn't for something very pleasant. But in my limited experience with all of you, you have made it quite a pleasurable journey, and you have always gone out of the way to support your clients in any manner, and I will always remember that. Both our teams are aware of all the instances. I don't need to list them down right now, but you can be rest assured that you have one happy customer.
Dimexon as an organization is present across multiple jurisdictions. We're present in Antwerp, Dubai. In India, we're present in 3 locations spread across India, in Hong Kong, in Shanghai. This means multiple currencies, multiple legal jurisdictions. We're happy to have Alliance work with us in all of these jurisdictions, and we remain comforted to the fact that they are protecting us with their great understanding and depth of our business through the insurance products that they give us. Dimexon as an organization has an annual revenue that is close to $500 million, and for a business of this size and scale, we really needed a partner that could understand the complexity, size, as well as the depth of the business in the midstream part of the pipeline, which I'm happy to say that Alliance has over the years gained an excellent knowledge of.
I'm Anush Raghavan. I am the president and head of the cash management business at CMS. I've been in the company for about 12 years now. We are India's largest ATM management and payment systems company, and the 5th largest globally. Our relationship with Alliance goes back to almost 6 to 7 years, which is for most parts of the time that I've been in CMS. And Arthur and his team have just been fantastic partners to work with. Amongst many other things, if I had to count 2 areas where their role has been indispensable to us. The first is they're acting as a very effective bridge between the Indian market and the reinsurance market, in being able to articulate the uniqueness of certain things that happen in the country and converting that into a language which underwriters understand from a risk perspective. I think they've done a fantastic job on that. And the second thing is, many times you tend to not appreciate the role people play because they're doing such a good job of it and allowing you to focus and do your own job. And I think from that perspective, Alliance has just been fantastic in being able to keep control of our risk cost and maintain an extremely steady focus on that and help us in effective claims management. They have allowed me and my team to focus on running the business.
Thank you so much. I have rather the question to you now on this, such a wonderful testimony from the clients. What do you think, or what in your view, what was the reason that these clients came to you? They are with Alliance for the past so many years. What is it that Alliance is doing to ensure that they stay happy with us?
Thank you, Samir. Can I think we have a small presentation of 3 slides for that, if that can be put up, please. Because when we started engaging with these clients, and over 3,300 clients, we realized that before asking for business, it's evident that we need to add value on these accounts. And go next, please. And when we did that, it was astonishing that more than 50% of those clients were priced higher than the market. 40% were competitively priced and 10% were lower than the market because of wrong ratings or wrong structures or the wrong policies they were buying. When we did a gap analysis, and that's an area Alliance invests heavily into, our value-added services team. And when we did this gap analysis, and Tapan, this will be interesting for you to see, we had missing covers, heavily underinsured, some insureds, open exposures in terms of standard policies being there and not having an entire balance sheet risk transfer in place, stringent conditions, and incorrect pricing. Everything that we could do, everything which could go wrong, something or the other was part of these policies which we took up. Go next. One more interesting aspect that we found, that the clients who had claims, none of them were satisfied with claim settlement at the right levels. So they were either 35% had challenges because of inadequate claim management, 25% had no SLAs with regards to the service levels, 20% had no root cause analysis structures in place, and the claim settlements trend was also very alarming, where 10% were in arbitrations, 10% were substandard settlements, rejections was 35%, and 45% were standard settlements. Only 45% of those clients had claims settled in lines with what the policy should be responding to. So this was a big eye-opener for a lot of clients. If you go next to this next slide, it's just not how much you pay, but we believe it's how fast you pay, which is a very, very important aspect. And if you look at the industry trend, and this is data coming from a combination of public sector and private sector data of top 500 claims, which we analyzed, almost 30% of those clients have claims above 365 days for whatsoever reason, while that is close to 12% for Alliance. And if you look at between 180 to 365 days, more than 40% of the industry operates within that space, while our claim settlement within 6 months would be 20%. And if you look at the bottom one, more than 45% of our claims get settled within 90 days, because Alliance invests into a large claims management team, because that's the true value. And as you said, as we all keep mentioning, insurance is all about standing by the customer when he needs us the most. And that's an investment which we make not just in Bombay, where we're a corporate office operating from, but from every city that we operate from all those 16 cities that we operate from. There's a fair amount of investment into claims and underwriting. And that's, Sameer, this is exactly the reason why some of our global brokers choose us to represent their customers in India, a broker of choice for large number of Indian corporates. And this is exactly, it's no rocket science, it's just ensuring that the clients get the best, nothing else. Thank you, Sameer.
Tapan sir, this is a question to you about your experience with Alliance, relationship of Bajaj Allianz and Alliance. It goes long back, and we have been a true partner to each other. And so, but what is your honest view on about Alliance?
Okay, so first and foremost, I think very impressive presentation by Atul. I love all the data and statistics. I think he put it well. And you know why I feel proud? Well, as you rightly said, if I take back 20 years back when we set this company up, we were struggling to find place, customers, establish credibility, and Alliance came in 17 years. So Atul's father, Mr. Tucker, very good friend of mine. I have seen Atul grow up, and the way professionals have come up. Now when he speaks and listen to him, I feel proud of him. So this question would be very biased when you ask me because of my my personal relationship with Atul and Alliance. But if I come to the professional part of it, I think the investment from very early on, which Alliance has done, and that's what I'm proud of them, is that it's on professionalism. They've hired some of the very good people like you, Sameer, Gauri, all industry experts, put them together. I think their obsession to be able to add value to the customer is what I was very happy with. and I'm happy with. I see very few brokers do that. I think most of the time brokers would actually indulge only in price war and just putting things together and not really bothering about what would happen when a claim comes. No, have you really covered the client well? Have you given the right advice? No, obviously client, whatever is advice, have you done that? Do we have thorough professionals who can actually do that? Are we just trying to stitch together? No. So if you look at the investment which Allianz Broker has done on professionals, on this obsession with the customers, on providing solutions, and when you listen to all what Atul was speaking, you see that it's reflected, no? And that is why I actually feel very happy and proud. So if you ask my view, I said one will be biased, but just by all the tech data and the presentation that has been made, and the kind of people that you have, you just put that on, that clearly shows where you're heading towards. My personal belief is brokers like your company is going to actually do very good, because India is opening up as an economy at a very fast pace. No, at times the human brain is not able to comprehend the pace of change, and that is why a lot of people get left out. Like the point you mentioned about international, MNCs moving out to international markets, and you said very few people be it the customer or the brokers are working on it. I believe that change is happening very fast. Professional brokers who invest in this are really going to do very, very well. And as our Indian companies start moving internationally and they start becoming more and more stronger, and that is the time where you're broking from today. When you talk about your operations here, one day we're talking like an international broker with operations about 100 or so. And this will happen in Atul's lifetime only. You'll see this all happening in the next 10, 20 years. So that is what you have to keep on working on. And I see that journey being taken. And I see when you have this seminars and this kind of conferences happening, I feel very happy. So from my side, Samir, I'm very delighted to see all this.
Thank you, Tapan. Thank you so much for the support and encouragement.
Thanks for the kind words. Can I have the slide? So today we are also launching our first newsletter. This will be a monthly newsletter. Can I have it on video, please? So actually, thank you so much. What we are doing from today, you can say we are launching our first newsletter for international business. It is meant primarily for our network partners globally, the global risk managers, because India is a happening country. Lot of things keep on happening in insurance industry in India. And directly, indirectly, the clients, the multinational clients in India are getting impacted due to it. So we believe it is our duty to keep our partners, to keep our clients informed, so that they can take timely actions. So this is, you can say, first of the series, and it will be there in your mailbox tomorrow. And going forward, it will be there every month. So thank you so much for this. And now we have few questions, although I'm getting messages from our friends that yes, we are almost done. But if you don't mind, I can take few questions from one of our clients, rather not exactly a client, to be very honest. It's a large Austrian multinational company with a presence in India and across other geographies. So the risk manager in India, risk manager Chandan, Mr. Chandan, I believe Tapan sir, only you can answer this question because it is related to IIB pricing. So the question is, I'm reading it as it is, that when my property policies are in line with our global programs and we are ready to take a deductible or higher deductible of even, let's say, up to euro 500,000, but still insurance companies in India are quoting as per IIB rates.
I think it's a very good question, Chandan. The problem is in the IB stipulations given by GIC, higher deductibles does not lead to discount. One of our early wins with GIC would be if they agree to this. So I think we already spoken to Devesh very early on. We said that you have to allow this. Somebody wants to have higher deductibles, they should be getting discount, which is a very logical and normal conclusion. He had not said no, he said yes. But the other issue is that we should look at if it's a global program that you have, how do we integrate with global reinsurers also to be able to get you those terms, because there you have this value of higher deductibles in terms of pricing which is there. But because of the IB stipulation, that's why your insurance company is not able to give that. And representation Bajaj Allianz has made to GIC, and Devesh has not said no to it. I think I hope that he agrees to this, but then you can get this benefit here. Otherwise, what I would recommend is you should explore with your insurance company and obviously your broker, to see that can you place it, via a reinsurance with your in your global program, and see that you get this benefit of what you want.
Thank you, sir. If you don't mind, I'll take one question and then maybe we can wind it up. But one of our broker friends from Germany has asked this question, and maybe Atul, if you would want to, actually it is for Allianz only. So the question is that how many subsidiaries of German and British companies do we handle as Allianz? So should I take it or you would want to?
No, I'll just answer a bit of it. No, I'll not give the exact number. I think I have again an unfair advantage. I was the president of Indo-German Chambers also, and I'm on the board of Indo-German Chambers. So most of the German companies in India are insured with us here. So I think that could give an answer. So I think we would be the leading insurer of all German companies and British and quite a few US companies. That would be there. So I think that is there, and I think that's one because of, again, Allianz, being such a strong presence in Germany, the leading insurer there. That advantage we have had. Yes, over to you.
Yeah, so same way, sir. I think we as Allianz also we are partners in various countries, and they are helping us with their business in India. And I've not exactly checked my record, but I believe if we talk about German clients, we would be having around 20 odd German clients and around 15 British clients. But in altogether, as Allianz, we handle over 55 global multinational companies into India, reverse flow business we have to go. So we also, but yes, this business will keep on growing from here on. And I think both Allianz and Bajaj Allianz, we have a lot of opportunities. We'll be having a lot more opportunities to work together on whether the reverse flow business into India or the Indian interest abroad. So thank you so much. Thanks everyone for taking out your time. Atul, I would request for your vote of thanks.
Yeah. Thank you, Sameer, for, as I said, for organizing this. You and your team have done a great job here. All the participants, thank you for being a part of this webinar. As Sameer mentioned, a lot of you all operate in different time zones as we speak today across continents. A lot of you all are partners to us, and we look forward for your support. And we are here to provide value on the ground. And as Tapan mentioned, India is changing and opening up at a very fast pace, and Allianz is well invested across multiple geographies to ensure we are able to service you and your customers in the best possible manner. And Tapan, thank you so much for being a part of this evening. Without you, it would have not been as good as it is. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
My pleasure, and as my honor to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.